Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for people who have been Smeckledorfed. I'm Cody.
And I'm Tyler.
Tyler, what movie did we watch?
Cody, we watched Spider-Man: Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it right now. There is no other podcast on the internet that gets punctuation right like us. That's why the people are here. That's why they show up. That's what puts the butts in the seats, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what brings them. That's why we get paid the big bucks, all right, is to remember the punctuation, all right?
Oh, and, yeah. You know, punctuation deserves its champion, and its champion is us. Just the two of us. Tyler, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Do you want to give us the synopsis?
Cody, I would love to give you the synopsis because we both know you ain't got the cojones for a synopsis like this. All right. Let me tell you, Cody, we join Miles Morales. All right. Later in the film, but we start out with a convicted, not black man, Gwen Stacy, a white woman. All right. She's out there. She's back in her universe, her verse, as they'll call it. Right? Isn't that where it starts? I don't know. Cody, I didn't watch the movie. All right. She's there. I liked the look of it. She's there. She's doing her thing. You get to see a side of her thing, you know, her adventures, you know, her universe that she came from. Because if you remember in the first movie, she was ripped from that universe along with John Mulaney and others. All right. That's all. That's the only voice actor I remember is John Mulaney. He was the voice actor for the pig, right? The little pig Spider-Man. He's my favorite. Spider-Ham. Yes.
Oh, right. So good.
Spider-Ham. And so they were there, but they're, you know, now we don't see all of them because everyone went back. Now it's just them. But then, you know, she's doing her thing. And then Miles, let's do this one more time. Okay. You said that in the last movie. You can't do it one more time every time. Do you get what I'm saying? Hey, Cody, look at me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't do it one more time. You're not doing it for the last time. If it's the first time, you're doing it this time. You understand the calculus of what I'm telling you? Anyway, they're there. There's a guy. He's my new favorite villain. He's the Spot. He's there. He's looking kind of dumpy. He's just trying to make a living because he ain't got no face anymore. All right. And he's being very reasonable. He's saying, just let me rob you. To the man he's robbing. And then he makes an excellent point, Cody. Come here, get close. He says this, Cody. He says this wisdom, all right? I'm not robbing you. I'm robbing the bank because it's the ATM. And let me tell you, everybody, he's right. There's no consequences to stealing an ATM. That's the bank's money. You're not robbing the person that has the ATM. You're stealing from a bank or some shady institution that charges you $7 to get a 20. All right. You know, it's just everybody go out there, you know, go to your local ATM marketplace and, you know, kick an ATM. All right. Kick an ATM, save the world. All right. Get that trending on Mastodon. All right, let's do that. That's what the Spot is out here trying to do. Then they go through, they're having adventures. You know, Miles, he's growing up. He's a growing boy, right? You know, he's not a kid anymore. They have adventures. Maybe find a little love. Maybe find a little bit of adventure. Maybe find some real creepy artwork. Maybe fight a version of the Vulture from Renaissance Italy. You know, maybe have some adventure. Maybe, yeah, maybe fight a Mexican man, you know? And that's the movie.
Yeah.
You have critiques?
Tyler, I think we set a record. I think that's the longest synopsis we've done in a minute.
Well, you got to have the detour for Spider-Ham. Appreciation.
You did a great job. You know, there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of verses that are all over the map, the intergalactic spider map. So, yeah. Tyler, I'm going to drop my hot take on you. Oh. This movie, it's hot. Oh. All right. It's a good one. I sat down. I watched it. I loved it. I sat down again. I watched it again. I loved it again. All right. I saw it twice because it was so nice. How did you like this one?
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Thought it was a good time. That was a grand old adventure time, but not like the show. Just like a time
once
with adventure.
Once.
I saw it once.
Oh, so you didn't see it twice? Ooh, man.
Didn't see it twice. Maybe I thought in my opinion you don't need to go see it twice. Maybe you just need to see it once and you're good.
You know, I just feel the need to flex. You know what I'm saying? I got so much time on my hands. I could have seen this twice, and I did. You know what? That's my brag for the week. I got nothing going on. All right, that's what you don't understand. All right, I got no commitments. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that I'm very picky with what movies I watch. That's why I haven't seen anything that's come out this year other than Mario movie, John Wick, and this.
Tyler, you want to know how many movies I've seen this year?
All of them.
Oh, 24. I've seen 24 movies. Almost all of them in the theaters. We're doing it. We're cruising right through. I try to hit 50 movies in a year, you know. Movie a week, roughly. And we're cruising. We're on our way. You know, we're on schedule. Tyler, is there anything else to say about this movie? Before we dive in?
I was going to say, there's more to say, but, you know, we could just end the whole podcast right now. I feel like we really encapsulated.
We covered it.
Yeah, we covered everything.
That's about it. Movie, there's spiders. What else?
Yeah, there's spiders. Spiders are everywhere. If you got arachnophobia, you know, you got arachnophobia. If you mainly game on Xbox, don't go see this movie. All right. Those are the two things that you just, don't go see it.
That's true.
Hold on. I'm getting there. I'm doing it. I'm getting there. Cody. Oh, I got it. Cody, step in my hole. All right. Step right into my hole here. Cody, let me use my holes to get us there. All right. Step in this hole. Slither your whole body into my hole. All right. It's a little tight, so you're going to have to really suck it in to slither it all the way into that hole. All right. We're going to hole our way all the way over to Spoiler Town, USA, using nothing but my holes.
Yes. Oh, I'm so ready. Tyler, do you want to be the first one to gift us with your rant today?
Cody, I would love to, but I know you definitely have notes, and I feel like every time you get 1% through them. So I feel like maybe you should, considering I have no notes for the movie to get through.
No notes. All right.
No notes.
I can pop
10
off.
out of 10, no notes. Except I have notes.
All right. Well, I
no
got
written notes.
So I can do that. Oh, it's so dark. Can't even see me. All right. You ready?
I'm so ready.
And we're going. All right. Yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Oh, my goodness. It was, it was great. It's great. It was a movie. It was a movie with strong themes. It was a movie. Maybe it was better than the first one. I don't know. That first one was great. This one, it was very good. Let me tell you right now. I liked what they did with it. I thought it was they had interesting use of they used kind of like abstract shape backgrounds and some of the more like intimate scenes, to kind of communicate the emotion, the vibe. And I wasn't sure the first time I saw it. I was like, I don't know. And the second time I saw it, I was like, you know what? This is great. This is a really cool thing to do. It's like giving a monologue or dialogue in front of a Mark Rothko painting. I was like, yeah, this is good stuff. Also, they crammed so much into this movie. Holy smokes. They did a lot. They crammed a lot into the last movie. But this one, they're saying, no, not enough. We need more. We need so much stuff. So many jokes, so many Spider-Men, all the Spider-Men, every conceivable, you know what? Just when you thought you weren't going to get shocked by one more Spider-Man, bam, Spider-Cat. And then you're like, not seeing it all. Bam, Spider-Horse. And then you're like, you know what? That has to be the last one. Bam, Spider-Rex. All right, giant T-Rex spider. They did it. It was all there. So impressive how much they crammed in there. They shoved it in there. They got all the origin stories. They killed Peter Parker. Finally, the Menace. We got him. Oh, and let me tell you this. Oh, this is the big spoiler. This is the big one. If you didn't know, you already knew we were in spoiler town. If you didn't know, you get out of here, get to the theater, you go watch it. This is your final. You get a bonus warning today. Oh, this movie ends on a cliffhanger. Oh, yes. Oh, I loved it. I hated it. I didn't even see it coming. I was so wrapped up. I was wrapped in the. This is how you know it's a good movie. I didn't even know it had been over 2 hours. And we weren't working towards a resolution. That's where it was. I was like, oh man, this third act is going to be nuts. And then it was like, all right, see you next year. I was like, no. Everybody in theater was shook. I think someone said F you to the movie screen as soon as when I was like, yes. It was like the opposite. Okay. I don't know. I don't remember if we watched Infinity War together. I can't recall. We did. And at the end of Infinity War, people were like, oh my God, I can't. What's going to happen to everyone? I'm so worried. I'm so scared, you know? And at the end of this one, everyone was just pissed. And I love it because I loved it because everyone was like so into the movie and they were enjoying it so much. And then they just ended, people were mad. And it was like, I felt so together, you know? The beautiful thing about going to a movie theater and a packed movie theater is that you are an audience. You know what I'm saying? You become a collective whole. And it was it was the first time in a while that I felt like I was in a hole with my compatriots, you know? And, it was good. Oh, it was good. And the second time I saw the movie, I was like, yeah, it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. Of course they're not going to wrap this thing up, you know? Let's see. Oh my goodness. There's Spider Baby in this movie. Mayday. Little Spider Baby, with the little beanie mask. So rejuvenating. You know what I'm saying? You hold that little baby. It's rejuvenating. And what else, you know? Lego Spider-Man's in this one. Remember the Lego movie? Remember the forgotten Lego Batman movie, which may be the best Lego movie that's come out? We got Lego Spider-Man. Loved it. All about it. I don't even know what that note means. But let's talk about this. No wonder it's a two-parter. Because there is such an intricate web of conflicting interests. You know what? You got Miles, who's into Gwen. Gwen, who's into British guy. You got Spider Vampire, who's into Spider-Verses. You got Whole Guy, who's into Miles. You got the parents that are helicoptering Miles. And you got Miles, who doesn't have a cake. And it just meant, and then you plop them in a new universe, and it's like, whoa, there's so much happening. It makes it interesting. That's what I like about this We've seen a lot of superhero movies, and they're getting a little stale. You know what I'm saying? Not this one. This one has things to say. And even though there's been other multiverse movies, I feel like this is the one that's like, no, we're going all out. We're using the fact this is going to be a trilogy. We're introducing new characters. We're fleshing out the ones we already got, and we're making a beautiful web of conflict that's making for a hot finish, a hot finale coming our way.
Cody, I'm gonna have to cut you off because I think this is when I should. I don't know. I didn't start the timer until much later, but I think I nailed it by setting it for less than the actual 5 minutes because I started it later. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? I'm gonna start my thing. I have the 5 minute. All right, Cody, let me tell you about this. First off, excellent. With the webs, you made the webbed comment twice, and I liked it, didn't you? I don't know. I think you did. Here's the thing. I want to say I liked the different aesthetics for the different universes. I like that Gwen's was like all watercolory, and, you know, Miles obviously is all comic book-y. Here's the one thing I still don't like sometimes. I like the comic book aesthetic. I don't like that sometimes they make it, they really make you question, hold on, did I forget to put on 3D glasses? And I'm like, I hate you people. Stop doing this to me. It's so unnecessary. It's so annoying. All right. I'm going to do this, Cody. Here's what's going to happen. I'm about to shock your whole world right now. Let me tell you about all the things wrong with this movie. All right. Let's talk about the fact that, like, there's just so many weird, random BS going on right now. Okay. Right. First off, there's too much Insomniac Spider-Man. We get it, Sony. You own Spider-Man. You made a Spider-Man video game. The first time it pops up, I was like, huh, that's fun. That's Insomniac. They made a Spider-Man game. It's super popular. It's like my favorite video game ever made. I love Insomniac's Spider-Man. All right. It's a good time. Everyone loves it. The 15th time you referenced the game, it was too much. All right. I was like, come on now. You've taken me out of the movie and I hate you now, Sony. First off, you're doing a bunch of shady stuff and then you're making it so I can't have Call of Duty on Game Pass on my Xbox. All right. Now you have like 3 Insomniac Spider-Man references on the same screen. All right. In the same shot, you reference it multiple times. And it's like, there are other you can see there is a Spider-Man T-Rex. All right. And you're going to spend this many Easter eggs on a video game you made. Get over yourself, Sony. That's what I need you to do. I need you to get over yourself and just get out of here. Just get out of here. All right. I don't need you in my life anymore. Okay. But I need Spider-Man. So you leave Spider-Man, but you do your thing. All right. I think, you know what I'm saying? There's so much going on, right? There were so many times in this movie that I felt like they are wasting so much time. They would build up things. They're like, we have 2 minutes. It's like in a movie where like, we got 2 minutes to defuse the bomb. And then an hour and a half later, it's like 90 seconds left. And it's like, beep, 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 as it's like ticking down. And it's like, okay. But you guys like took a 3-hour plane ride in this 2 minutes. So, speed it up. Let's snap it up. All right. Let's spend some more time in Mumbai Hatton. Or was that what it was? I don't know. This sounds right. Because that was a real treasure. I liked him. I liked the what's his name? I can't remember the spider they met there. He was cool. He had the little spinny thing, with the string and he whipping that around. He was cool. He was probably my favorite new spider that I've never seen before. He was a cool guy. What's the other guy's name? Hobby was a fun time. Hobie, Hobbit, Bilbo Hobbiton. He was a good time. I liked him. Here's the thing, Cody. You know me. I've been trying to find a way to fight against the man recently, and it's been hard, all right? Because I have an employer that's good to me. My wife has an employer that's good to her. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, you need to get an employer that's worse to you so that I can fight against the man. I can rage. I can tear down the establishment. All right. And Hobbit here, he gave me, I liked him. I liked his vibe. That's me basically, Cody. I am a comic book character from London, right? That's me. I liked it. It was a good time. I thought they made a good point. The go home machine, super humane and not creepy at all. But I did like all of the Spider-Men, right? I liked all the Spider-Men. I liked all of the random people in the background. I did think it was funny at one point they showed them all really specific and really detailed, and then it like cuts very slightly to where it doesn't change who is on the screen. It just like is like, oh, this person was looking, and then shifts like 2 feet to the left. And then all those super detailed people in the background are now just vague spider symbols with a silhouette. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we didn't want to spend time or just shift that picture over. I guess that was a lot of fun. So there was lots of things like that, lots of wasted time, lots of people giving weird speeches. They're like building themselves up. Like, I know what's going on here.
I'm gonna have to cut you off right there. Mid sentence. Let's talk about Hobie. The first time you watch it, I was like, man, he's out here. Miles, he's so jealous. Second time you watch it, you're like, Hobie is the hero of this entire film. He's the heart and soul of it all, Oh, so good. He's like, I don't believe in labels. He's like, I don't believe in consistency. What is it? That's capitalism, bro. Oh, man. He had so many good zingers. Loved it. When he's like, I've had enough. He was like, I'm not even here, mate. Like, oh, he's so cool. Because like at first you're like, oh, he's so arrogant, he's stuck up. And then by the end you're like, oh, he's the ultimate rebel. He's the only one that has his eyes open. Everyone else is still asleep and he's awake. So good, dude.
Yeah.
Love him. Love Hobie. I think you meant, I had some notes. India Spider-Man, so much fun. Loved hanging out with Mumbai Spider-Man. So cool. His whole montage of like, and then I work out, but not too much because I don't want to get too buff and, go to school really easy for me. I don't try too hard, whatever, It's great. A lot of fun.
His name is so funny.
What about
his name?
Here's
a question. Is his name racist? Because it's very much just like if you say Peter Parker with an Indian accent, I feel like.
Yeah. No, they got an Indian voice actor, so I'm sure it's all above board,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure we're cool. Yeah, what's the thing he says about his hair? Like, you don't put any product in your hair, and it's like just coconut oil and good vibes and genetics or whatever. Or whatever it is. Yeah, good genetics. Yeah. So great. Love it. Jason Schwartzman as the Spot. Oh, loved him. I loved his whole thing. This might be the summer of Schwartzman. He's great in Asteroid City, which I'm excited for you to see. And he's he's great in this one. Like just he delivers every line so well. I thought as a whole, one of the best voice acted movies I've seen in a minute. Like I thought about it, I was like, every voice actor was well cast and like just nailed their part. Thought it was really great. I even enjoyed Andy Samberg's little cameo as the whatever his name, the really intense spider guy, the ripped one. Which I don't know if you've seen this little trivia yet, but there's actually 2 versions of the movie out with a few slight changes in dialogue. And his characters is one of them that has a couple different lines he says depending on. But yeah, there's like a handful of little differences depending on which version was out where you saw it, which I thought was interesting. So I don't know if he said the line. I saw the versions where he says, "I have you trapped in my well-defined musculature." And then I think the other alternate line is something about like, I call this like the spider vice or spider grip or whatever it is. He's got a special name for his little spider headlock. But so there you go.
My favorite part is
there's even more cameos because Donald Glover pops in here with a cameo as the Prowler, which was teased in Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man with Tom Holland, I think. They kind of tease him as Uncle Aaron very briefly. And then, anyway, they throw him in as the Prowler on this one, which is interesting because everyone wanted him to be Miles Morales or just Black Spider-Man back in the day.
Yeah.
And, here he is in the Spider-Man movies. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it was nice. I thought it was a good time. Tiffany definitely asked me a bunch who he was. And it was very funny. She's like, who's that guy? I was like, what guy? She's like, when they went to the thing and the real person, I was like, there was a lot of real people. Like there's a lot of live action people. It's like, you have to be more specific. Finally, we narrowed it down to him. And I was like, oh yeah, no, he's not been in any. It's like, he's this guy. And it's just, it's a little fun little cameo.
He has that little cameo and he gets beat up by Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And he's like,
just get beat up. He
gets ice cream in the car.
Yeah.
He got webbed to the car. He's like, ice cream in the car. He's like, you deserve that. You're a criminal. You got that. It's for my nephew's birthday party, right? So they're up. So they tease Miles Morales already in the anyway. So
but here's the thing. Can I say one thing? This movie does have the best explanation for like a super villain backstory. And it does it in one line.
Oh my gosh.
You hit me with a bagel. Like that was the inciting incident that led him to this moment.
Classic.
So good.
And like a bagel's got a hole in it. Now he's got holes,
Oh yeah. Him like his little back and forth with like the construction people, like, stop talking about your holes.
It's so good. I thought the soundtrack was really great, which the soundtrack was great in the first one as well, but they did such a great job fitting the music to the movie. Really excellent soundtrack. I also really enjoyed, they did a great job. A lot of interesting ways they framed people, either upside down or sideways, depending on like what was going on in the story. And my other big note about this movie was just that every frame was so like meticulously put in place. And it's funny, I wrote this note before I saw Asteroid City, but it could have been like a Wes Anderson animated movie because everything is so well put in place and like framed in a certain way to really like pop. Just styled so well, framed so perfectly. It was like every single shot. I was like, man, this could be a poster. This could be a painting. This could be,
comic book.
Yeah, for sure. But they just really nailed it. And I like that, in an era where like, I feel like it used to be like, oh, comic book movies. And now they're kind of just considered superhero movies. But this one really embraces the comic book movie thing in a really positive way, I thought.
Yeah, I do think they are bringing like a breath of fresh air to the movie, to the superhero movies, and especially I do feel like it's easy to do on some level, easier to do with Spider-Man than it is with something like Batman, which is like, well, they've all been dark and gritty. Batman's aesthetic is dark and gritty, right? Whereas Peter Parker's whole thing
to be, right? I mean, like you could make a campy Batman movie.
But Batman, I think by his nature has always been more grounded, I think.
Which is honestly why Lego Batman is one of the best Batman movies of the last decade.
Yeah. Well, but then it's like
it embraces the
him being so Batman. Weirdly, him being dark and gritty, but everyone else not being is why that one's funny.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just using that like as like so many superheroes are like more grounded than something like a Spider-Man, which is meant to be like he's a kid doing kid stuff, like he is just a kid swinging around on a web, and it allows for
together
for moments
late for math.
Yeah, and it allows for like the moments right where it's where Miles says that he loves chai tea, and Indian Spider-Man it's like does the rant like you can't chai means tea, bro. Like going off about coffee, cream.
And
it doesn't feel out of place when they're like in the middle of a battle and he's telling them about himself, but he's also, it's like cutting away to his routine, his daily routine while they're chasing a villain. So it's a good time.
That's what I really like the pace of this movie because it is just kind of go, and they're always throwing stuff at you, but they do also have those moments where like, there's conversations between Gwen and her dad that are very intimate, and also Miles with his parents. And so it also leaves room for that. I don't know. I've seen some movies lately that are like, okay, perfect example. We just talked about Little Mermaid last week, and it's the same length as this movie. And Little Mermaid for me, an hour and a half in, I was like, oh, this movie's long. We're going to be here for a while. Whereas this one didn't even bat an eye. 2 hours, 20 minutes. I could have done another hour,
Yeah, which is interesting because I liked Little Mermaid, so I didn't notice how long it was. But this one, I noticed, like I said earlier, like I felt like there was a lot of time wasted in that. Like there was always stuff happening. They were always going. They were always moving forward a thing. But when you didn't know that there was going to be the next one, right? And it was very much like, you guys, it's like, there were so many times where it's like, you got to wrap up one of these 15 storylines you're setting out, my guy. Like, you got to wrap this up. You can't be going off on 8 other missions. Like, this is how, like, this feels like we're sitting here playing like Skyrim, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to go over do this side quest. And then 15 hours later, I have 30 new side quests and not a single step advanced on the one I started out doing,
So I felt playing Breath of the Wild recently. I was like, my ADD can't handle this because I'm always like, oh, I just got to collect some of these. Oh, wait, there's someone to talk to. Oh, he needs me to find this. And then I go to find that. And then I get distracted. I'm like, oh, this is a cool thing. Oh, I should go open that chest. Then, yeah. And after 20 minutes, I have accomplished nothing, but I've started 30 different things.
Yeah. That's what it feels like this movie does. But it does, I think, do a good job of keeping like a central storyline. And then just like, there's just so much going on around it. But at times it felt like when you're watching a kid show and there's always a lot of stuff going in bright colors, but you're like, nothing's happened in the last 5 minutes. Like nobody's done anything. It's just been a lot of noise and color. And then it'll move forward. So that's like a critique I would have of the movie, but I did enjoy the ride. Right. I had fun watching it. But like, I feel like so here, I'll put it this way. If you felt this way, the way I did about this, you'd be shredding this movie to pieces. But I'm like, I like the Transformers movies, and they're just noise and color and movement for 2 or 3 hours. And then they're like, we did it. High fives.
Well, I hear what you're saying, and you would be right, except that you're wrong. And this movie is paced perfectly. And,
how dare you, sir?
I don't care how many more Spider-Man. They could have introduced 20 more Spider-Man with their backstories, and I would have been in for it. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm just a sucker, but it was working for me,
I mean, the dialogue just wasn't written very well. That's what the problem I had. When Amazing Spider-Man Spectacular Spider-Man came in and said, "It's how it is, man." I don't know what you normally say to critique dialogue. I'm just trying to do my best. He says, "Can this day get any weirder?" And then what? He's bringing Spider-Rex. It's so
Spider-Rex is so good, dude.
Is gauche a word? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Cody.
Gauche.
Is that a thing people say anymore? Is that something
sure
the youths are saying?
It sure is.
Gauche is probably spelled with a Y or something, isn't it?
Yeah. I want to know how you tried to spell gauche, because I know for a fact that no one's allowed to spell it right on the first try.
Here's the thing.
Even people that use that word aren't able to spell it right. Is it Gauche? Is that gauche?
So I was like, I know the sh comes from a CH, and I'm like, I know it's like there's not a single O in there. So I was like, I knew where all the letters that were in there. I thought it was way longer than it is. What I did was I spelled it phonetically. So I was like, Google will get it if I misspell it hard enough. But if I try to get it right, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out. So I just went the classic GOSHE. All right. And it did it. Shout out to Goog that gave it to me immediately. So lacking social experience or grace, which I think fully. Yeah. I would say Spider-Man. Very gauche. All right. What do you have to say about that, nerd? Right?
I can't refute it. You know what I'm saying? You've conquered me at my own game. I will say my only real critique, I think, is they tried to mush in all the footage from all the Spider movies, including some live action scenes from like the 2002 Spider-Man. Yeah. And I will say it was, the ones they like filmed with Donald Glover didn't look too bad, but using like the Sam Raimi 2002 footage was just a little bit like they needed to color palette it or do something to it, because it was like, yeah, this is just like sticking out a little awkward. Like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but you didn't need to, you didn't need to do it. I think for a movie that looks so like flawless and beautiful for so much of it, to have like 2001 movie thrown in there was just a little bit awkward.
I felt like the live action scenes were a little weird. I did notice that they seemed to have the Sam Raimi stuff, and like it felt like the Sam Raimi movies got kind of relegated to like they were in the background a little blurry, and they focused on having the newer stuff more in focus and closer to the screen when they wanted it. But because, like you said, get the higher res stuff. I was disappointed, right? Because they're like, yeah, see, look, I didn't like the fact that they were like, yeah, see, look, there's live action stuff, but you're not going to throw like, you're going to insinuate that every Spider-Man is part of this group, but also, so that's what you've keyed up, but also like, it's never come up in any of the Spider-Man movies that you've made. Classic Sony not understanding how to tell a good story. Am I right? High five.
Yep.
But also, you don't have any live action Spider-Man in there. Like,
and you know who they did throw in there? I mean, right? The Donald Glover. I have no complaints about that cameo. The Venom lady, convenience store attendant.
Yeah,
that's a whole scene, like a whole little interaction between Spot and I. Like the friends I saw with, I was like, "Oh, you guys haven't seen Venom, have you?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Oh, well, convenience store lady is from Venom, so there you go."
Yeah. Which I did like, because she, very because she doesn't react to Venom either. She's just like,
that's my thing. Whatever. Is you're not going to throw Venom in there?
Yeah.
You don't even have to have Tom Hardy. You can just have Venom.
Yeah. But that is the thing. Like, they seemed like they referenced the live action stuff, but didn't go for it enough in my mind, where it's like either don't reference it or do. You know what I mean? Like, do it or don't. Either be like, no, this is the animated stuff. That's the live action stuff. Keep them separate.
It's an interesting thing to throw in there when it. Like I said, the animation's so beautiful and meticulous that it's weird to be like, all right, and we got live action stuff too. You know, doesn't quite fit the mold of how everything else looks. Which is crazy because they're so good at mixing and mashing so many styles together.
Yeah, it is. It's also weird for them to be like, for Miguel to like reference Spider-Man No Way Home as like an anomaly event and everything, and be like, cool, but like, you guys weren't a part of that, and through none of those anomaly portals were any of them animated. So
yeah,
I feel like that movie does not acknowledge you, and you as the animated side movie and acknowledging it is just kind of like weird. And it's like you know, like when you got a friend and his little brother's like, yeah, we're friends, and you're like, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, we hang out all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Aside from that, though, sorry to say, I got no critiques. I really enjoyed where the movie went at the end, where he goes to Universe 42, and he's like, tells his mom he's Spider-Man. She has no clue what he's talking about, and it's like, oh snap, we're in the wrong universe. And not only that, because that's a pretty big twist, but then he goes with Uncle Aaron, and then he meets himself as the Prowler, and you're like, oh, that is a cool. I don't know. I thought, as far as cliffhangers go, it was a really cool. I really enjoyed that as just like the way to end the movie and the cliffhanger. And also, it was fun to rewatch and see all the foreshadowing where, like, oh, right, they did call out that was 42, and they called out that his spider came from a different Spider-Verse, and, you know,
yeah, and
all that. So I knew it was coming, but it was fun to see all the clues that they kind of laid out throughout the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I could take it or leave it if I want. I was like, I mean, yeah, I was just kind of like, that was the point where I felt more than anything else. I was just like, man, this feels like we're just filling time more than anything else. This feels like this is a plot line meant to fill time, and that's all it's going to be from start to finish. This is not going to be a core thing, right? And I was like, I may be wrong. It may be core to the next movie, but it felt like, oh gosh, you know, rolling my eyes at.
I am curious at how the next movie is going to go, because like I said, I was all amped up in my seat ready for the third act to go down, and then now it's like, oh, we have a whole other movie. So I'm curious to see what the pacing and timing is going to be like.
I feel like it's going to be very much like, and I think they did a smart thing of copying how like Infinity War and Endgame kind of did it, where it's like one is going to set up the other one, and then the other one is you know, like really quickly kind of do a real shorter beginning of the movie where you're kind of setting up the second part of the movie, and then just have a long drawn out fight sequence where you feel the whole length of the fight right at the end of it. I imagine that's about how it's going to be kind of laid out. Like it's going to be them getting Miles. And there's going to be some storyline that's going to be like, you know, like, but your dad is actively getting murdered by somebody while you're sitting here having a heart to heart with yourself. You know, maybe let's speed this up a little bit, you know, and then they're going to go and they're going to fight Spot and his holes. You went from funny, kooky to real creepy real fast. You know, that's the real.
He got real existential, got real dark, you know. We all have holes, you know. That's what
we do. That's a fact.
It's true. Okay, here's my other question. Gwen Stacy. How old is she? Follow-up question. Is she a pedo? Because they dance around that and they throw it around. She's like, her and Hobie, they bone, you know? They throw it out there. And then Miles is like, do you and Hobie boning? You know, but obviously it's a kid's movie, but it isn't. So she's out of high school, right?
Is she though?
She's not going to school.
So I get I get the vibes,
And
right?
here's my question, though. Okay. If she's a romantic interest of Hobie, who is an adult, and a romantic interest of a sophomore in high school,
Yeah.
and I know for a fact she's like at least a little older than him, who's the pedo? You know what I'm saying? That's the question.
Oh, Hobie's the pedo, right? But in London, the age of consent is like 12, right? So,
Right.
he can't be a pedophile over there, right? But so here's what I think. She killed Peter at the senior prom, right? So she's like
Okay, right.
17,
So it
18.
was the senior prom.
That's why probably is a prom. So I mean,
Right. Okay.
she's at least 17,
I
right? Even if it was
prom's at
junior,
the end of the year,
But I'm saying-
and it's been a couple months.
even
so
if
you know
she's
what
a
I'm saying?
junior, right? She'd be 17. That's the very youngest she can be, right? But
Right.
they say that she's like 5 years old. Thought in the first movie, she's
That's my
probably
thing.
18. Here's what I'm gonna say. Here's what I'll go. I'm gonna say it right now. Right? Believe
Does she
this.
have? Hold on. Is there a Romeo and Juliet law? And does she have it in her pocket? Is the real question. Is it in a laminated card? And can she explain that to anyone who has any questions?
Can she
about
pull it out from Mark Wahlberg at the drop of a hat? That's the real question.
it?
So here's what I'm going to say. He's 15. Miles is 15. She's 18. Hobie's 20.
Is it like when you have a crush on your babysitter, but there's no universe where it would ever happen? But like in your mind, you're like, it's the woman I'm meant to be with. You know, we're right there. We're star-crossed lovers. And she's like, you are my little brother. And I don't understand what's going on. But then she's like, right? She leads him on a little bit, doesn't she?
Oh, absolutely.
Am I crazy?
Absolutely.
Am I crazy?
She's
So who is she? A tease?
she's a tease.
She teasing him?
She's a tease.
She a tease or a pedo? Or is it
Both. Both. And I know what all the ladies are going to say. They're going to be like, oh, just because she wants to be friends with a boy. No. But when you like are there, he goes to hold your hand and then you say like, but then it never works out. And he says, first time for everything. And then you go, eh. And then you snuggle up to him. And then you're going to be like, that's not leading him on. You're a hoe if you say that.
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. So, Cody, I'm sorry to say that, but I guarantee you your wife would have said, that's not leading him on. All right.
Oh, behavior. All right.
I watched you and your girlfriend at the time, now wife, dating. Cody.
Yeah.
It was disgusting the way she acted around you.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't have
I don't know
it
if you
any
remember this,
other
Cody.
way.
Let me throw your mind back to when we were both dating our now wives. I proposed to mine, and what do you remember what I told you after I had
You
proposed?
apologize to me.
I said, I'm so sorry. Because I knew what I had unlocked. I knew what I had opened the door to. But look at you now, all right? You're locked in forever, all right?
Oh, yeah. Locked and loaded. Tyler, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I know you're a nerd. I'm a nerd too. But here's why I know you're the biggest nerd. Because I have no beef with Insomniac and didn't even notice they had referenced it so many times. And they boiled your potatoes. I didn't even bat an eye.
All right, let me
So
take you on a journey here, Cody. All right. So I know they for a fact. They definitely referenced it more than I recognize, and that's what boils my potatoes. If to use your own reference for you. All right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. The first reference I noticed was when he goes in to see his roommate at his little boarding school. Here's the other thing. Does he live at the school or does he live at home? And it drives me nuts. Okay. And because it's like, oh, it's a boarding school that's down the street. That's not a boarding school. That's just a school with apartments in it. All right. So I think they're just living in what's going on at this school. All right. But his roommate is playing Insomniac Spider-Man. which I was like, all right, this is an interesting choice
I
to have
remember
him
that.
playing video games and then it have be. But here's what I hated about it. It was Insomniac Spider-Man with like just a weird filter over it that made it's like, look, it's the dots from the comic thing in a square over the screen. I'm like, but it's still Insomniac. It's still a Spider-Man video game from the real world. Like, it's not, you could have just been like, it's there, or like there's literally a comic outfit you could put on your character in that game. Like, you could have done stuff without a weird, just weirdly placed filter. Anyway, so I was like, cool. But I thought, oh, that's cool. That's a fun little Easter egg. That's cool. It's a fun time. But then there was like 5 so close together when he's at the headquarters, or it's just like, oh, that's from his son. Oh, that's just the Spider-Man. That is just Spider-Man from the video game next to like 3 other things from the video game. I'm like,
oh yeah,
there's other Spider-Man property. Why are you spending so many of these background Easter eggs on one Spider-Man? And I was just like, get over yourself, Sony. Get over it.
Look,
just get past it, you know? Just move on with your life. You could have bought all of Avengers and you said no. Here's the thing. Everybody, they could have bought all of Marvel comic properties for the same price. They said thanks, but no thanks. We only want Spider-Man. That'd be like you being like, hey, do you want all the cars on the lot? And me being like, nah, I just want this one. You know, like, that's the same price. And I said, nope, just this one. Right?
Stuff out here, you know, it's hard to know a good deal when you see one. Let's talk about this. The end of last movie, they recreated the spider point meme, you know, at the end credit, there's a little their stinger in the first Spider-Verse movie, and they do that. Hey, I'm pointing to you. They upped the ante so hard in this one. They were like, get Spider-Man. And they all look at each other and like, bam. Oh, it's just like 300 spider people pointing at each other. It's classic.
Yeah.
Spider Doc Ock. That was a lot of fun. You know, that was a good one.
The Spider-Man in the background were treasures. I loved all of them. They were a good time.
A lot of thick spider people. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
There were some, I mean, like shredded out, you know.
I didn't see him, but I'm sure I want to go back and do a frame by frame, and I want to find Spooderman. All right. We all know about Spooderman. He's everybody's favorite. He was bitten by a regular spider. He has the power of minutes left to live. All right. He's the hero the city needs. Okay. That's what he is. Yeah. I love him. He's my favorite Spider-Man. Have you seen this guy? Have you seen these videos? It's all started out with probably a Vine, is because it's old. I feel like it's old enough to be a Vine, but it's just a dude that has stuffed pillows into a Spider-Man costume with him also inside the Spider-Man, and then comes in horribly deformed. And he says, I'm Spooderman. I was bitten by a regular spider. He's like, and he's got like stuff in the end of his arm, so they're just like flopping around. He's like, I have the power of minutes left to live. I love him. He's a treasure. Classic. And they make a trailer for him. Anytime a new Spider-Man thing comes out, they make a trailer for that Spider-Man in that style. And they're good people out there. Nice. Right? Where was he?
Did you know? I got some trivia for you. I'm in the trivia now is where I'm at. Did you know the Lego Spider-Man was animated by a 14-year-old boy?
Oh, no.
He made a Twitter video recreating the Spider-Man trailer with Lego, and Phil Lord, Chris Miller were like, you're making a sequence for the movie. Isn't that cool?
Did you know that a lot of people think the reason that the Lego Spider-Man is Miguel's favorite is because he had a child? And Legos are for kids. So the child liked the Legos. That's why
That's cute.
Is that true? That's Probably nice. Not. I feel like that's a leap.
Except Miguel didn't have a child because he's a poser. Did you know
Miguel took over a dead man's life and assumed the identity of a dead man to become a father. Yep. And then he's like,
harmless.
And then he's like, I lost everything. It's like, no, you probably killed someone to take over his life. You're the villain here, my guy.
Yeah. 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 Right? I mean, that's the exact plot of Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange. That's what the villain does in that movie. So, did you know this is the longest American animated film to date?
Oh,
By 4 minutes.
4 minutes?
Yeah.
But if you remember in a song, that's all you got to save the world or something is 4 minutes.
Yeah, we only got 4 minutes to save the world. So,
and they're doing it.
So let's sing a song about it. Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that all you got? Was that it? Is that all you had? I feel like
they had
you had
like
more.
1,000 people working on this, 1,000 animators working on this. I did see an article that like 100 like quit. They were like, yeah, this is too much. You guys keep changing stuff on us and we're working 11-hour days and it's too much. So I was like, I respect that. They were like, yeah, normally in animation, everything's pre-planned out very meticulously. And instead what was happening was they would finish the sequence and then Phil Lord would be like, wouldn't it be better if we did this? And they're like, we have to redo everything. So people don't like that, especially animators.
Yeah, that would not be a fun time. I can see why. I can see why people would quit. If like you got to redo everything all the time.
Yeah, no, it's rough. It's
but
rough.
They're gonna go on. They're gonna make all kinds of movie, and those people, what are they doing now with their lives? You know what I'm saying? Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
According to this, they confirmed this was going to be a 2-part movie way back when.
Look, don't come at me with facts.
December 2021. He was like, yeah, it's going to be split into 2 films. So it makes me real mad that I had no clue that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, as I said to you, you've bamboozled, smeckledorfed, all that. And, we've been hurt. We've been betrayed. All right. And, I think it's time for us all to stand up and realize that the one that will never betray us is the Fast and Furious franchise. And that's the only franchise we really got to watch anymore. We don't need any of this other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah. An animated Fast movie. Should we make that happen? Imagine like 50 Dominic Toretto's animated in different styles, monologuing, about driving fast and believing and family. You into that? Do we like the idea, or what are you thinking?
I don't like the idea, but I would, however, I would, however, accept the idea being inflicted upon me.
I mean, at this point, whatever they do, you're gonna take it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, just like whenever the sequel to this movie comes out, I'll allow it. I'll be fine with it. Just fine. They don't need to come to me for approval. I guess I'll just give it here. Phil, put it out. Don't need to keep calling me, guy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Here's the thing.
Take a chill pill.
These people are out here murdering old men and police captains. All right. And they're the good guys.
It's not murder if you just watch it happen. It's a snuff film, right?
Yeah, but like,
called.
Here's the other thing.
Voyeurs, right? They're sadists. They just like watching the other spider people have pain brought on them.
What if the point? It's
like the Matrix, but if they just like watched people suffer within the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? They were like, it'd be really cool as if we just like hung out and let this go down.
Yeah. You're right.
They're protecting the web, the spider web. It's going to collapse.
Okay.
Right.
No, I have another, another critique here.
They're right.
So the solution to not have the captain die that none of these people thought of is just convince the guy to quit.
Stop.
Or does the captain still have to die, but just not one you care about? That's my question to you.
It's like, well, here's the thing. It's an interesting concept for a multiverse movie, because in the other multiverses, it's like, oh yeah, no, there's just infinite iterations of universes. Therefore, there's a multiverse for everything. Whereas what this movie posits is because all spider people were bitten by spiders and have this linking event of police captain dying while trying to save child. That is what links all the universes together. And so when you interrupt that, the link between the Spider-Verses, or is it only because there has been some glitching that now that's volatile? It's an interesting idea is that it's not like there's infinite multiverses because of iterations of things. Like, no, all these multiverses are connected because of these canon events. So if there wasn't a canon event, they're saying it becomes unstable, but it's only unstable because other people have gone in and interacted with them. So it's Miguel O'Hara's fault, right? But then he also blames Miles. He's like, you're the original anomaly. But how did his... Oh, because of the collider.
Yeah.
Because there was the collider in the first movie.
But he wouldn't have been there had he not been
because one
bit
spider got sent in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Now the canon event's been fully disrupted in the verse. But also Miguel O'Hara, he posed as someone's father in another.
He also has to eject himself with something. And it's definitely the reason that Spider 42 got into...
It's the potion from Harry Potter 3. The wolf's bane.
Even from turning vampire?
Juice. Yeah.
From turning into
I thought he was werewolfy,
Neo
but then he's vampire-y. What's that about?
He's part vampire,
he looked more
part
werewolfy,
werewolf.
and then they said vampire later, and I was like, I guess vampire's fine, but he seems werewolfy to me,
Look,
you know?
He's part cyborg, part werewolf, part vampire. He's the only new Neo vamp wolf. Right? He has the capacity to bring the houses of the Underdark together under the moon of Timbers. I don't know, some nerd stuff, you know, like
Yeah.
Sure, you know.
So anyway, the point is, I don't know. It's a multiverse. There's spider webs. If you didn't have the canon event, then the spiders wouldn't be buddies. They wouldn't get to be buddies.
You think all the spiders are friends? Or is it just all the Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
No, all
Spider-Man.
the spiders. The biting spiders. Do you think they coordinate? They got their own. Here's what I like to think. In the raft, in there's a little there's a vent where all the spiders have their own little headquarters, you know, but it's like
yes,
in a crawl space.
And one of them has developed enough technology that he's got a little brain implant so that he can talk, and he's the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They coordinate their efforts to bite all the Peter Parkers.
People named Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Every so often one goes rogue. They got to hunt him down and they take him down. The 42, he was out there. He was trying to break the cycle, right? He was the one. He's the person that runs in and throws the wrench at the Apple screen or whatever, right? You know, he's the one being different out here.
Tyler,
yeah.
Look, I know you're out here trying to warp my brain and tell me this movie wasn't good.
It was awful.
But I'm going to tell you here, it was excellent. It was jam-packed with jokes and goodies. And I'm all about it. I really loved it. I don't see how they can't stick the ending because it's a two-parter. The benefit of making a two-parter is that you know what you're doing and you know you've got a good ending in place. And I'm sure it's already 90% done or 80% done or whatever. So I'm looking forward to the conclusion. But just like the other great two-parters of times past, look, two-part movies are great. Singular books split into two parts suck as movies. But there's a handful of movies that have been made that are two-parters, original movies. Kill Bill, Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, and now we got Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse. And I think they're going to stick the landing. I'm looking forward to it. This movie got me jazzed for comic book movies once again. You know, it was a goodie.
It was a goodie. I mean, I liked it. It was fun. You know, it was a fine movie. It was a fine movie.
Get out of here,
like
dude.
I said,
I know we're going to rate this movie. You're going to give it a higher grade than me, and I'm going to be mad at you when you do.
I mean, if I give it a higher grade than you, then that's just crazy. Because I saw your movie list. I know where this is.
You're You're not even allowed to look at my movie list.
You
That's
sent it to me. You did it. You sent it.
Oh, yeah.
I misspelled gauche
yeah.
for you, Cody. You can't take this back from me.
Yeah. All right, Tyler. Are you ready to rank it? Or you got more to say?
No, I'm good. Like, I think the movie's good. I think they did a good job of, bringing everything in. I think they could have, I almost would have preferred the only live action reference being the Venom one and just not do any others. And not do multiple, which, okay, to be fair, I did look it up. So the game the guy's playing is actually Spider-Man 2. Is not out yet. So, they only referenced that one once. So I guess I got to take back everything I said about Sony.
Oh,
you're the best. You're saving us from Microsoft's
I'm the better nerd.
Evilness. And, you're out here.
You nerded in the wrong direction.
You're out here. Look, okay, here's all I'm going to say, Cody. This is a Sony movie. And the Sony Entertainment boss, Jim Ryan, is slowly turning himself from like a beloved figure into like a comic book supervillain with the weird stuff he says during all the trials they're in right now. And that's weird. And I'm like, look, just, Jimbo, just don't do that. Just, Jim, you are Miguel right now. You're doing the Miguel thing. You're being a creepy vampire dude with a slow elevator. That's the only other thing I really want to talk about is how slow the elevator was.
That was so good. I was so into that.
There's one more PSA. It doesn't have to do with the movie itself. It does have to do with the movie goers. I saw this in a packed theater. When he says, I'm Spider-Man, if you say he's black, then you're the worst person and you deserve to be castrated. All right. I hate you. All right. If you're trying to make a joke that one person made successfully once and you're going to shout it out in a movie theater. Because, Cody, there's a video where when somebody says, when he says, I'm Spider-Man, and like shows his suit, somebody says, he's black. And the whole theater thought it was so funny. But now it happens in like every showing of the movie. And I'm like, these are the worst people in the world. You got to stop. You got to move on with your life. You just don't go see it. Go see Little Mermaid, all right? You don't need this one. Don't need this one in your life.
I agree.
Go see it. Go be mad at the ending. Go erupt into laughter like my movie theater did when it just ends and says to be continued.
Yeah. It was great. It was so good to experience it. So, what's your grade?
I'll give it an A, I guess. I just do A.
You can't get out here and then be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I need you.
I don't hate movies as much as you do. I like the movies.
Do it for the Riz, Tyler. Whatever it means.
What did I give the other one?
I've heard Riz in so many contexts, and I haven't figured out what it means
yet. It means
everything
and nothing. All right?
I just Googled it, and we've only done one other Spider-Man movie on this, and it was No Way Home. We did not do the other Spider-Verse.
We didn't do the other Spider-Verse? What?
Unless my records are false.
It's insane.
But I searched for Spider, and I only got one other movie, and it was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh no!
So, look, you're gonna slap an A on this guy.
No. You're gonna come at me. Here's the thing: I would give the first one an A. I give this one an A minus. I think the first one was better.
Oh, dude! I gave the first one an A. I give this one an A plus.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at my movie list, which, has just been a blast. It's been a blast to go through. If you want access to my movie list, which is every movie I've seen in theaters for the last 6 years ranked on a list, it's been just a lot of fun, to look through and see all the movies I've seen and what I ranked them. I just saw Spider-Man Homecoming. Where was Spider-Verse? What year did that come out? 2018? Let's pop it off. Oh, it was number 4 out of 55 in 2018. So very high. Oh no. Maybe should it have been A plus too? I don't know. Anyway, this one's an A plus. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What a delightful film. So excited for the sequel. I hope more people don't quit so it can come out on time. Because if I have to wait a minute longer for this movie than I have to, I will riot in the streets. All right?
I mean, yeah.
I'll do it. I'll burn this podcast down, sir.
Yeah, do it. It deserves it at this point, right?
Well, if you want access to my movie ranking list as a viewer only, all right, I'm not going to give you edit access to my. You can reach out on social media at Opinion Havers. I got to fix our Twitter or not. I don't care at this point. So, reach out to us. You can share us, rate us, review us, or don't. I also don't care about that. Stitcher, I think, is going down as a service. I got a notification on that. So if you do your podcast in Stitcher like an idiot like I do, it's all over. It's all coming crashing down. What's going to happen to the Stitcher exclusive podcasts I listen to? I don't listen to any, but what if I did listen to some? That's the question.
That's why they're going down. No one's listening to their exclusive Stitcher. You got to move to listen to those exclusive Audible podcasts.
I'm going to have to get on to, I don't know, maybe Spotify podcasts? I don't know. That's where I'm on everything else.
I mean, guess what, Cody? We're there too. You can't get away from us.
Oh, yeah. You can't escape us. Doesn't matter how many. How does a podcast service go down? I misread it. If you know what's happening with Stitcher, go ahead and reach out to us. And until next time, watch movies.
And have opinions. You ever think about how petty do they have to be to say the Venom is part of the Venomverse when Marvel is a multiverse with infinite worlds? And then to be like, no, it's not even part of this. It's a separate thing.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's
like you did it to yourself.
You made like 2 mediocre to bad movies, and it's like, this is its own thing. Watch out. We're going to name it. Oh yeah, we're doing it.
But it's like you made the movies and then you were like, those movies sucked. How could you have done this? But it's you that done it. And then you sue Microsoft for buying Call of Duty. This is what everyone would do in their place, right?